Nice to have you with us again as we return from what I hope was an awesome Easter weekend for you. It certainly was for me. We had my girls home from college. We had friends over from our church. We had a wonderful, wonderful day. And I know for many of you who listen to this show, today is a mixed day, a day in the afterglow of the amazing message of Easter, but also tainted by the grief that you feel over the passing of Pope Francis, who died this morning at about 7:30 a.m. I'm at a distinct disadvantage when it comes to discussing the passing of Pope Francis because I am not Catholic. I am an evangelical Christian. We share much of the same faith and beliefs, but we do not share exactly the same beliefs. I want to be sensitive to your grief today and do my very best to discuss the passing of someone who is held in the highest esteem by those of you who are Catholic. So Pope Francis will be replaced by a conclave of cardinals who I'm sure the cardinals of the Catholic Church are right now making their travel arrangements to get to Vatican City so they can vote. Any Catholic male in the United States, well, no, not in the United States of America, any Catholic male in the world is eligible to become the next pope. But as I understand it, it has always been someone who is serving in the position of cardinal since the 1300s. So there are numerous frontrunners. I don't know anything other than what I read about many of them. So we'll try to stick to the facts as I have them from other news sources today as we discuss the passing of Pope Francis. He was the first Latin American pope. He's Argentinian. He's the first Jesuit pope. And he passed at 7:35 this morning in an announcement by Kevin Farrell. Carmelengo of the Apostolic Chamber. That's Cardinal Farrell's title. He said, "Dearest brothers and sisters, with deep sorrow, I must announce the death of our Holy Father Francis at 7:35 this morning. The Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the house of the Father. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and of his church." So they will, the cardinals will meet in Rome inside the Sistine Chapel. They can nominate anyone. They can nominate themselves. They will, only cardinals over the age of, under the age of 80 can vote. They will then burn their ballots once they vote. And if they do not select a pope, they will burn their ballots, and the smoke that will be released from the Vatican is black smoke. And when they have a new pope selected, they will release white smoke, after which there will soon be an announcement of who the new pope is. Pope Francis had, as you know, been in the hospital for 38 days recently, suffering from an assortment of chronic lung diseases. He had part of one lung removed when he was a young man. He did give an Easter blessing yesterday. He did also meet with Vice President J.D. Vance. Vice President Vance had this to say. I have a quote from J.D. here somewhere. I can't put my hands on it right now. Sorry about that. I will definitely find it at some point. So Pope Francis, controversial, I think, to be fair to say. He made a statement early in his papacy while flying back from Rome after his first visit to Brazil, which is a heavily Catholic country. He was asked about Catholic believers who are homosexual. His response was, "If someone is gay and he searches for the Lord and has goodwill, who am I to judge?" That became probably the defining statement of his papacy. From the 2024 presidential election, a lot of people were shocked when he encouraged Americans to vote for, quote, the lesser evil, which was, I mean, you can interpret that he was endorsing Kamala Harris there, because many people know now that Trump has become president that, and even before that, Francis has been a critic of Trump's immigration policy. Of course, others noting the Democratic Party's embrace of abortion. That was a difficulty for some people to embrace, that he would not condemn that, or did not condemn it in the minds of some as forcefully as possible. He did say at one point, the threat of abortion remains our preeminent priority. So I'll leave it to people who are Catholic to render a verdict on Pope Francis, the difference that he made on the church, how he is missed, how he will be remembered. Here is Mark Thiessen, Washington Post, Fox News, who is a Catholic, noting that in some ways Francis was a surprise choice as Pope, given the fact that he was the first Pope from Latin America and the first Jesuit ever to be selected for the papacy.
His predecessor, Pope Benedict, made the historically almost unprecedented decision to resign. There had only been 2 popes in the previous 1,000 years who had resigned. The last one was in 1419, I think it was Pope Gregory, who resigned to, there had been 3 popes competing, and so he'd resigned to unite the church in the Western Schism. No one had resigned, and there's a feeling that popes shouldn't resign. John Paul II, when he was very, very ill at the end of his life, and he was clearly suffering. And they asked him, Holy Father, why don't you just resign? And he said, because Christ didn't come down from the cross. Mm-hmm. And that was such a great witness to the world of the power in his suffering. And I think he was probably one of his most eloquent periods of his papacy was when he was visibly suffering and continuing to shepherd the church. And unfortunately, Pope Benedict made the decision to resign, which is what made Francis the accidental president, the accidental pope. If Benedict hadn't done that, we would have never had the Francis papacy.
Mark Thiessen typically discusses presidential politics on Fox, so I would assume that would be the source of his stumbling there over papacy and presidency. He went on to discuss, much like the presidency, the papacy is a thankless job where you cannot please everyone.
Family is complicated, and I think that we have complicated opinions about Pope Francis. I think among both liberal and conservative Catholics. Among conservative Catholics, a lot of them felt that Pope Francis had a lot of love and a lot of patience for those who challenged or opposed Catholic doctrine, but not so much for those who defended it. And they feel almost like it's very complicated when they felt the Pope didn't really love them that much. And it's hard when your father dies and he didn't love you. Among liberal Catholics, they felt that he loved them and he was very patient with them, but he didn't deliver. He disappointed them because they wanted him to change Catholic doctrine on a lot of things. And what they don't realize, and a lot of people don't realize, the Pope can't change Catholic doctrine. So he couldn't deliver the things they wanted. So he was their hope for a radical remaking of the Catholic Church, and their hopes were dashed. And they're probably never going to have another chance to have a pope like this that they hope would make certain changes that now probably will never happen. And so there's complicated feelings on both sides.
Yeah, and as I've assessed the reaction to the passing of Pope Francis, what I gather is that the next pope is likely to be, presumed to be, more conservative than Pope Francis. Return to the basics of Catholic doctrine. I don't know if that's going to prove accurate or not. I'm reading about candidates. I can give you details on candidates, but I mean, as Mark Thiessen just demonstrated, Pope Francis was kind of an out-of-the-blue selection. He was, that was never confirmed. It was also never denied by the Vatican that he was second on the vote that resulted in Pope Benedict becoming the Pope. And so that, Pope Benedict's resignation then opened the way for Pope Francis to become the first Jesuit, the first Latin American Pope. As I said, he was 88 years old. He served as the Pope for 12 years. There will now be a 9-day period of mourning, in which he will begin lying in state in Vatican City today at 2 p.m. As I said, he did appear in St. Peter's Square yesterday and offered an Easter blessing, met with J.D. Vance, but then died early this morning. So that is it on the passing of Pope Francis. Again, I'd love to be more conversant on this. I would love to be able to give you some deeper insight than I can give. This is the one topic that I want to be sensitive to, because I understand that many of you who are Catholic held him in high esteem. This is a concept that in the evangelical church we can't understand, because we hold to the scripture that there's no mediator between God and man, and that no one is holy, not even one, but he's referred to as the Holy Father. I want to honor your love for him and offer my condolences on his passing.
Intervals of clouds and sun, a thunderstorm in the area this afternoon. That could bring some hail and damaging wind. Our high today, 75. Partly cloudy breeze and cool night tonight, low 48. And then a very nice day tomorrow. Sunshine, a few clouds, high 71. Sunny, terrific on Wednesday, the high 78. Cloudy, warm, afternoon shower or two on Thursday, the high 81. And then rain on Friday with a high at 75. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. Very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
Your dog's diet should be as colorful as yours. Dr. Fido's is a dog food topper made with 40 ingredients made from whole foods, designed to enrich your dog's diet with a variety of fruits, vegetables, spices, and fibers. And the best part, just stir into their food and you're done. It's that easy. Go to drfidos.com and order today. Vet developed, dog trusted. This is the human-grade dog food topper that gives you peace of mind. But don't just take our word for it.
She's an Australian cattle dog on the farm. Been used to work cattle and lots of miles under her feet. And she is happier on the Dr. Fido's. I've been super impressed.
Don't let your dog miss out. Call 888-388-PAWS, PAWS, or go to drfidos.com, drphytos.com. And for a limited time, order now and receive a 10% discount with our money-back guarantee by using promo code MIKE2.
You made it through another nasty Ohio winter. But let's be honest, there's something in your home that will kind of struggle through it. Yeah, it's your furnace. But the good news is you can make a jump on next year's winter now by getting a Goodman high-efficiency furnace from Temperature Pro for $2,000 from our discount shopping club. The regular price is $4,000. Temperature Pro is a leader in commercial and residential HVAC services. Get all the details at 989theanswer.com or by calling RMAT at 614-216-5049.
I'm Seth Leibson for townhall.com. With tax day now behind us, and with Donald Trump and Congress working to preserve tax cuts he and they previously enacted, a quiz. Who said the following, quote, "It is a paradoxical truth that tax rates are too high today and tax revenues are too low, and the soundest way to raise the revenues in the long run is to cut the rates now," close quote. Ronald Reagan? Milton Friedman? Nope. That was President John F. Kennedy in 1962. And he was right. Each of the major tax cuts from Kennedy and Johnson to Reagan to Trump, in each of them federal revenues have reliably increased. Quite simply, when more Americans are left with more of their money to invest and spend, more growth, more expansion, and more income results, all of which become taxable. And yes, that means on the top rates too. As my old boss Jack Kemp used to put it, you can't make life more easy on the employee class by making life more difficult on the employer class. I'm Seth Leibson.
Gas and groceries giveaway sweepstakes underway at 9890answer.com. You should check it out because the grand prize winner will get $2,500 in gift cards to purchase gas and groceries. We don't know what the economy is going to do as we have uncertainty regarding tariffs and regarding all sorts of things. Fed rate, Donald Trump and Jerome Powell are sniping at each other in the press. We'll talk with Josh Pick of Aptus Wealth Management about that at 12:35. But what you do know is that gas and groceries probably consume a significant part of your budget. So why don't you go to 9890answer.com and enter every single day. You only have a few more days to do so before the gas and grocery sweepstakes giveaway ends. Good news, if you've waited until now, you can complete bonus entries to give yourself a better chance of winning by getting more than one entry per day. Gas and groceries giveaway sweepstakes also offers second and third prizes of $500 gift cards for gas and groceries. Enter at 9890answer.com. So we had a woman carjacked this morning. Denison Avenue, West 2nd Avenue, that's in Victorian Village, just after 3 a.m. One suspect attempted to steal a woman's purse before she was dragged by the car. Suspects are believed to be driving a blue car. She was taken to the hospital in critical condition. This is a little bit different than two people who died over the weekend. We had a Northeast Ohio man from Van Wert, 50-year-old Joaquin Estrada, struck and killed on the northeast side near Mays and Morse Road. He was apparently in the right lane of traffic. A woman, I don't need to give her name. I don't know if she's guilty of anything or just in the wrong place, wrong time. She went to pass another car that was going, she said, between 25 and 30 miles per hour, which sounds to me like a little bit slow for Morse Road. She went to pass the car, probably 3 lanes of traffic. The slow car's in the center lane. She goes to pass on the right, and Mr. Estrada was in the right lane. She hit him and killed him. She thought she hit something, and then she returned to the scene later, so it's not technically a hit and run. Then we had a juvenile killed on Saturday, no age given, 4:20 p.m., 2040 Oakland Park Avenue. Didn't I say last week? It seems like we've been having an awful lot of pedestrian accidents, pedestrians who are hit by cars. Seems like it to me. And we've had now 2 more, I would say. The carjacking one doesn't fit the bill. She fought back and she got drugged by the car, by the people who were trying to carjack her, and now she's in critical condition. So welcome to life in Columbus and Andrew Ginter's supposedly safe city where people continue to get murdered and hurt. I've railed against this before. I will rail against it again. The universal basic income. There are several programs in Columbus that are giving no strings attached money to people who cannot make ends meet, even though they apparently have a job. And this is written out extensively today in the Dispatch, and it's of course written from the sympathetic perspective of a woman who has, because everybody who's in this situation, I want you to know this, okay? Everybody in Columbus, Ohio who can't make ends meet is, the Dispatch wants you to know, exactly like the woman in this story. A woman who has, according to the lead of the story by Danae King of the Dispatch, a master's degree, a full-time job with Franklin County, and is an artist whose paintings hang in a local gallery. As every single person in Columbus who's getting the $500 no strings attached payment fits that bill. None of them are former drug addicts. None of them are people who've made bad decisions in their life, prostitutes, criminals, none of them. They're all master's degree holders, hardworking, full-time people who on the side are artistic enough to have their work hang in a local gallery. This is, of course, the exception to the situation. People who make good decisions, and it appears this woman has made some good decisions in her life, but she hasn't made enough of them that she can make ends meet. The story unfolds this tale of woe. She can pay her bills despite living paycheck to paycheck, but still has to go to a food pantry 3 times a week to get food for her family. Now, let me say, the food pantry is there for situations like this. I understand that it can be a difficult decision to decide to go to a food pantry. I'm not unsympathetic to this. I know people who have gone, and they should not be looked upon with shame or derision. They should be looked upon as someone who is doing what they need to do to help their family survive, which is, I think, the most admirable thing that a person can do, is be that dedicated enough and to not get caught up in the appearance of asking for aid. It is not wrong to ask for aid. It is not wrong to accept aid. I just don't happen to believe that it is proper to accept aid if you're not doing anything to earn it. And I certainly don't believe taxpayer money should be distributed without conditions. This program is stewarded by something called the Ohio Mothers Trust. Who funds the Ohio Mothers Trust? If it were private donors, I would have no problem with it. Then we find out that the Ohio Mothers Trust is supported by the Franklin County Commissioners. Isn't that nice? The Franklin County Commissioners, out of their own pockets and their almost $90,000 a year annual salary, are supporting this Ohio Mothers Trust. No, of course, they are not doing that. They are using your money and my money to support it. Here is a quote from the woke, lousy Franklin County Commissioner, Kevin Boyce. As we're thinking about the universal basic income, what we're really promoting is the opportunity that we can undergird people who need it most in a growing economy so they can do the very basics in taking care of their families. He says they can use the money to do things they may not have previously been able to do, like access preventive health care, focus on individual interests, or spend more time with their children. This quote is from Hannah Jones, Deputy Director of Community Development with the City of Columbus. It's really allowing folks to define what will get them where they need to be. That seems like an awfully wide berth to define. Get them where they need to be. Well, who is to determine where they need to be? The person or the taxpayers giving them the money? I would favor the latter. Of course, the Franklin County Commissioners favor the former. Is there any research on universal basic income and whether it works or not? Yes, there is. But of course, the research comes from the conservative Buckeye Institute, so the City of Columbus is not going to pay any attention to it. Rhea Hederman, the Buckeye Institute, says when income goes up, people work less, people in their household work less, and they use more leisure hours. The study that the Buckeye Institute did focused on 1,000 people who got $1,000 a month for 3 years with no conditions. It found that participants' work hours decreased by 1 to 2 hours per week, and their partners did the same. The greatest increase in time use was for leisure. At the same time, the study said it found no impact on participants' quality of employment or more investment in education. This is the argument that people make who advocate for a universal basic income, is that it will lead to greater educational opportunities, that they'll work harder because they want to maintain, but they don't have any conditions on the programs. Rhea Hederman says something that I agree with. She says the best anti-poverty program is a job. Yes, because a job gives you self-worth, self-esteem, things that are lacking in poor communities.
With SRN News, Thomas Thomason in Washington. Roman Catholics all over the world are grieving the loss of Pope Francis. Mourners gather in Rome, church bells toll. The Vatican says the pontiff died at 7:35 this morning, just a day after greeting crowds on St. Peter's Square and granting Vice President Vance a private audience. Posting online, President Trump writes, "Rest in peace, Pope Francis. May God bless him and all who love him." Mr. Trump ordering flags lowered to half-staff at the White House and at all federal installations. Defense Secretary Hegseth reportedly had a second signal chat where he shared details of a pending military strike. The White House says that no classified information was shared. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is down almost 800 points. The NASDAQ Composite Index off more than 400, and the S&P is down over 100 points. This is SRN News.
Charlie Kirkner, I've been thinking, why does it feel like losing weight is harder than ever before? Mixed messages, bad diets, and quick fix solutions. Many people are left stuck and exhausted trying to fight a battle they can't seem to win. If you feel this way, you're not alone. I used to feel that way too. But let me tell you, it's not your fault. Your body is working against you, and delaying action only makes it harder. I took a step 2 years ago and called PhD weight loss and nutrition and lost 40 pounds. I feel great and have kept it off. If you're ready to make a change for life, call 855-696-2020. That is 855-696-2020 to schedule your weight loss consultation. The first 11 callers who mention healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Call 855-696-2020 and mention the word healthy. Visit them at myphdweightloss.com. That is myphdweightloss.com. It works, everybody. Check it out at myphdweightloss.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer. Anywhere you go with The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn or iHeart.
I'm CPA Brad Henneberg with Premier Tax CPAs. And the true value of using a CPA is getting guidance throughout the year, not just at tax time. During the year, we can actively advise you on your financial and tax planning and other major business decisions, just like an outside CFO. Too often, when you see your accountant only at tax time, we're really only keeping score of what you did last year. We'll prepare a comprehensive tax plan to maximize your deductions and minimize the tax you pay, and present you with money-saving options you may not have ever considered. We'll update your financial position each quarter, so there are no nasty surprises at tax time. At Premier Tax CPAs, we like to have consultations with our clients throughout the year because important financial information is only useful if it's timely. At Premier Tax CPAs, we're a firm that can work with you and your business throughout the year to help you make decisions before it's too late. Give us a call at Premier Tax CPAs at 614-524-4888. That's 614-524-4888.
Sorry, ma'am, but you need to vacate this home.
Why, officer? I own this home free and clear. I've lived here for 40 years.
Well, unfortunately, the paper says otherwise.
But I have nowhere else to go.
I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am.
This story is becoming all too common in the U.S. Scammers are preying on people with high equity or who own their homes free and clear of a mortgage. Only one company completely protects you. That's Equity Protect. Get your free risk report by texting the word home to 94878. Again, text the word home to 94878 to get your free risk report from Equity Protect.
He's consistently ranked by industry trades as one of the country's top radio morning hosts. He's touched it all, and you can go in weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on your station for news, opinion, and passion. 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Hey, Saturday was not as rainy a day as I thought it would be, so I was able to get a lot of things done in my yard, and I was feeling great, the sunshine on my face, but you might not be that way. You might be like, oh man, getting outside and mulching, pulling weeds, planting flowers, anything like that. Just the mere thought of it reminds you of the pain that ensues when you try to get up out of the chair or get down on your knees, you can't get back up. If you're in that situation, you got pain anywhere. You've been told you have arthritis and it's chronic and there's nothing you can do to fix it except maybe have a joint replaced or take some pain medication that makes you nervous because of the side effects. Well, I would highly encourage you to take advantage of the free no obligation consultation from my friends at QC Kinetics. They have clinics all over Columbus, and guess what? They offer you a free no obligation consultation to find out how they can get you out of pain with no surgery and no medicine, using your own body's healing agents. They can explain the process to you, but they can't unless you call and set up your own appointment. 380-208-4544, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. Well, the left was thoroughly defeated in the presidential election, but they are not going to go quietly. They're going to keep fighting. Even after they lose the battle, they're going to keep fighting. And we have numerous agencies, aspects, governments, municipalities that defy federal law. One of them is Whitehall, which is a unpleasant place to live. I mean, assuming if you kind of don't like violent crime, Whitehall would not be a great place to live. Does your city council care about making Whitehall, which was once a city with the highest per capita murder rate in Ohio, but they care about fixing that? Well, the police do. They have good police in Whitehall, but no. City council, not so much. They passed a pair of resolutions last week aimed at protecting citizens' rights? No, immigrant rights. And declaring the city a safe haven. Why? Because of the crackdown on crime? No. Declaring the city a safe haven for the LGBTQ plus community. They voted on April the 15th to adopt a resolution proclaiming Whitehall as a welcoming community to new immigrants. So if you're a woman in Whitehall, I would advise you to have accompaniment when you're walking down the street, because since they're welcoming so many immigrants, we do not want to happen to you what has happened to Blake and Riley, Ruby Garcia, Jocelyn Hungry. If you're a woman, a child, don't venture out on your own in Whitehall, because the city council is welcoming all the immigrants that they can. I'm not saying every immigrant is preying upon women. I'm not saying every immigrant is a predator, but there are some who are. This has been well demonstrated. And so you are less safe in Whitehall than you would be if the city council cared about complying with federal law, welcoming ICE into your community, or doing anything that it could to make the city of Whitehall safer. As for the LGBTQ safe haven, this was popular because advocates and Whitehall residents in favor of these measures packed the city council chambers. They say to oppose the federal hostility to both minority groups. Well, you can look at it like it's hostility, but really what it is an embrace of traditional American values, where we would like for everybody here who's getting entitlements to be eligible for those entitlements because they're a U.S. citizen, or we would like to be able to live in peace and not have crammed down our throat, as we will a month from now, your immoral sexual fetishes and practices. And we're in an era now where we not only have to tolerate you, we have to celebrate you. And those of us who hold to the moral compass compelled to us by Scripture do not want to celebrate evil. And it's not our judgment that it is evil. It is God's judgment that it is evil, because it's clearly articulated in the Bible that morality that departs from one man, one woman in a faithful marriage is immoral. Okay, so who's the force behind this? Councilwoman Amy Harkar. Her immigration resolution wants to make it easier for immigrants to receive food, healthcare, education, and housing, regardless of immigration status. You say, well, that sounds like that's against Donald Trump's executive orders. It is. It is. Whitehall, they passed this, by the way, say that they would uphold the constitutional rights of all residents. I favor citizens being given constitutional rights, non-citizens, not so much. The Supreme Court has ruled on that. Non-citizens have some rights. They don't have the same rights as us, but of course Whitehall wants to give them not just what we have, but more. Now they did exorcise, which means remove from this measure, a provision that would have required Whitehall to block city resources from aiding federal immigration enforcement. So they wanted to stand in the way of ICE and CBP coming into Whitehall. That would have imperiled their federal aid and would have gotten them on the radar of the Department of Justice. And they didn't want that. So they did take that out. As for Ohio House Bill 68, which bans gender-affirming care for minors, Whitehall didn't say they will defy it, but they did say they will not criminally prosecute those seeking or receiving such treatment. So they are selecting, picking and choosing which laws they will obey in Whitehall. This is, to me, an explanation of why Whitehall struggles to achieve the prosperity of other parts of the city of Columbus, although there are very prosperous parts of the city of Columbus that have foursquare embraced all this utter nonsense. Bexley, Upper Arlington, they are on a slow descent into perversity in all those places. Now, the other thing that really cheeses off the liberals is, of course, any attempt to ingrain academic integrity and fairness in our education system. Now, back when I went to college, debate, marketplace of ideas, all those things were celebrated. Not so much anymore. The Ohio State faculty, people who should be embracing open debate, marketplace of ideas. Instead, this Thursday, will vote to determine whether they will join the Mutual Academic Defense Compact, which is a coalition of schools in the Big Ten led by university faculty responding to legal, financial, and political attacks on academic freedom. So the Simon P. Chase Center, the measures the Ohio General Assembly has adopted to ingrain free and open debate in academic circles at Ohio State and like 5 other public colleges in the state of Ohio. Free and open debate is, according to the Mutual Academic Defense Compact, not free and open debate. It is legal, financial, and political attacks. Yes, you won't let us indoctrinate your students anymore. You won't let us spread our lies about how America is a systemically racist country and denies opportunity to people. No, we're not going to stand for that. We're going to vote together, and we may join together as one, the newly expanded Big Ten, and get all 18 schools in to fight against the very things that colleges were founded to be. Who has joined this woke mob of utter fools so far? The faculty senates at Rutgers, the University of Nebraska at Lincoln, where Ted Carter, the president of Ohio State, came from, Indiana University, Michigan State University. I don't imagine they're going to have any trouble getting Washington or Oregon or UCLA or USC or Illinois roped into this nonsense. So this is where we are. Faculty members are pouting, are mad, are fighting against this. This is going to be an ongoing war to win. And I don't know if we have the stomach for it, because I know they have the stomach for it. You know how I know they've had the stomach for it? Because they've been fighting this war for the better part of half a century. And they have slowly, incrementally moved us from a place where, if you would have looked at where education was in this country in the 1960s, and then you would have had the clarity to look forward 60 years into the future and see where we are in 2025, you would say, well, there's no way we're ever making that leap. Well, we didn't make that leap. Like every bad decision in life, it is very seldom a giant leap. One day I'm walking obediently, I'm on solid ground, I can defend everything I'm doing. How does the journey to 1,000 miles from sanity to insanity happen? It happens one tiny step at a time, one compromise after another, after another, after another, and after another. And then you look where you are and you're like, how do we get here? And you're like, well, because I was afraid to stand up and say that that was wrong, because, you know, I might lose my job, and how big of a deal is it really to refuse to put my pronouns? I mean, after all, I didn't say my pronouns were they and them. I said my pronouns were he and him, but yes, I did put them in my email signature. And besides, what does a rainbow on my email signature have to do with anything?
flow gives me the physical energy I want. Better blood flow means more oxygen can go to my brain to give me the mental alertness that I need to be at the top of my game. I've taken Vinia every day for over 3 years. It's been a life changer. Each Vinia capsule has the same amount of Pisces red aerosol found in 1,000 grapes or a full bottle of wine, but without the sugar, calories, or alcohol. If you want all-day energy, better mental alertness, start your day with Vinia. Go online to get your first month free. Go to Vinia.com to learn how to get your first month free. Enter discount code HUTFREE at checkout. Visit VINIA.com. Use discount code HUTFREE to save. Plus, we'll include free shipping and a 90-day risk-free guarantee. Go to Vinia.com right now.
Larry Elder here. Do not miss my new movie called Electric Vehicles, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Are EVs really better for the planet than gas-powered vehicles?
Torque is instantaneous. The batteries are lasting very long.
Sitting in the parking lot just burst in the flame. We're going to be relying on China.
It's not just a movie about cars. It's about how we choose to shape our future. Electric Vehicles, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Produced by Impactful Pictures. Watch it or buy the DVD on April 22nd at salemnow.com.
Are you among the millions of Americans living with chronic pain? If so, you may
Okay,
take
thank you.
prescription opioids for the solution. The truth is, the benefits of opioids are limited. Opioids only mask the pain. Opioids also come with serious side effects, ranging from nausea to withdrawal symptoms to overdose. As many as 25% of people who are prescribed opioids struggle with addiction. And those who are addicted to opioids are 40 times more likely to move on to heroin. No one wants to live in pain, but no one should put their health at risk to be pain-free. There is another choice: physical therapy. Physical therapists treat pain through movement and exercise, no warning labels required, and you get to be an active participant in your care. Choose to treat your pain safely. Choose physical therapy. Visit moveforwardpt.com to find a physical therapist near you. This public service announcement is brought to you by the American Physical Therapy Association.
Imagine being denied an apartment because of your religion, or your race, or because you have children, or a disability.
It's so wrong. Yes, but who has the power to stop this?
You do. Each of us has the power. The law is on your side. It's illegal for landlords to discriminate because of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status. If you suspect that you have experienced housing discrimination, file a complaint with HUD immediately so we can investigate it. Fair housing is your right.
Use it.
To learn more, visit hud.gov/fairhousing. That's hud.gov/fairhousing. Or call 1-800-669-9777. 1-800-669-9777. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
My Pillow's mega sale, not something you want to miss, because My Pillow mega sale offers you the opportunity to outfit your linen closet with sheets at a deep, deep discount. My Pillow has Giza Dream bed sheets and Percale bed sheets on sale at rockin' prices. You can save $40 on the new spring My Pillow bed sheets in any size or any color. Percale bed sheets are crazy low. You have to go almost every single day to find out how far the prices are dropping. What happened in this case is Mike Lindell had a big order out with a major big box retailer, and the big box retailer, who knows why, their own stupidity, canceled at the last minute. Maybe it's because Mike Lindell stood up for election integrity in 2020 and they were trying to bait him, maybe help his business fail. It's not failing because conservatives have come to Mike Lindell's aid. They've gone to mypillow.com and they've ordered in droves off the website because Mike Lindell has dropped his prices, and the mega sale 2.0 is further evidence of that. So go to mypillow.com and use my promo code Bruce, mypillow.com, promo code Bruce. I do not want this day to pass without mentioning on a personal note that today is my 24th wedding anniversary. I made, apart from accepting Christ as my Savior, the best decision I have ever made in my life. 24 years ago today, I made it long before that, by asking my beautiful, wise wife to marry me which thankfully she said yes. We have 3 beautiful kids. We had an awesome Easter weekend. So there's that. So happy anniversary, sweetheart. What will we do to celebrate? She will be taking my daughter back to college, both of them actually. One to catch a ride to her school of choice, and the other, my wife and daughter, third daughter, will be delivering. So I pray for safe travel for them, and love them dearly, and they bring joy to my life in every single way. The other anniversary that I want to commemorate is, I've said before, one of the great things about Donald Trump's re-election to the White House, returning after a 4-year absence, is that Donald Trump will be the president of the United States on July the 4th, 2026, which will be the officially recognized 250th anniversary of the United States of America. But the battle for U.S. independence began 250 years ago Saturday, April the 19th, 1775, the Battle of Lexington and Concord. The British, because we were a British colony, and they were taxing us, and we wanted out from under their thumb. We wanted to be an independent nation, 13 colonies. And Lexington and Concord, those battles happened on that day. And we lost a lot of American patriots, but our ragtag band of soldiers pulled together and scored the first victory over the British. Later that day, it's occurred 15 months before the Continental Congress signed the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776. They commemorated that anniversary in Lexington and Concord over the weekend with a battle reenactment. It is referred to in history as the day the shot heard round the world. And there are going to be a lot more of these battles that we're going to try to commemorate and observe, because the battle for American independence is one that I'm afraid our kids aren't really taught about it in great detail. All the sacrifices made by the people back then, who the casualty rates were astronomical. They battled gangrene. They fought primitively, hand-to-hand combat across battle lines. The British, for the colonies to win that war, there's no other way to explain it other than the divine hand of God, because the founding of our country shows an allegiance to God that is just inarguable. I don't know how you can look at it and not say that it was inspired by God and that our nation didn't just happen, but that it was divinely inspired. And yet it took real sacrifice of blood and treasure, people who were willing to die for the idea of freedom. People like Patrick Henry and Paul Revere and Benjamin Franklin and John Adams and Thomas Jefferson and others who knew if they lost the war, they would be hung for treason. So this is something that I've started. Like, look, most of you probably have access to, pick one, Amazon, Paramount, Hulu, Peacock. There are ample YouTube. There are ample documentaries out there where you can, particularly if you're a grandparent, particularly if you're somebody who served in the military, tell your grandkids about this. You might think they are being taught about this in school. Can you trust what they're being taught in school? They're not taught what you and I were taught. They're not taught that. In a lot of places, they're not taught that. Some they are, but some they are not. So make sure that you are being intentional and being purposeful in telling the people you have influence over about how wonderful America's founding is and how much bravery and courage and valor it took. So today in Boston, they refer to it as Patriots Day, and they run the Boston Marathon on this day. And I would like to know what the founders would have thought, what the people who gave their lives for this eventual country would have thought. 250 years ago today in Lexington and Concord, if you said, hey, you know how they're going to commemorate this? 250 years from now, they're going to run a marathon in Boston, and they're going to have 3 divisions. And they probably would have gone 3 divisions. What? Men, women. They probably wouldn't have been able to envision that women could run 26 miles, 385 yards. But now in the Boston Marathon, this will be the 3rd year that we have had a men's winner, a woman's winner, and a non-binary winner. Yes, we have a non-binary category, except that it is conceivably possible that we could have 3 men win all 3 races. You say, what about the non-binary race? Well, what about I get that. Wouldn't that preclude a man winning the women's race? No, it would not. Even though the qualifying time for women is 16.6% slower than the qualifying time for men, which would seem to be an admission that women can't muster the same oxygen intake and process oxygen and convert it into energy and run as fast as men. That would seem to be an allowance for that. However, in the 2 years since the non-binary category was introduced, shockingly, both races have been won by biological men. And this year, in the women's race, is a biological man named Ria Susing. Ria Susing is a man who identifies as a woman. He has competed in races in the female category more than 338 times since 2009. Medaling for his age group more than 140 times, which means that every single time Ria Susing, a man, competing in the women's division, means that 140 times he has received an award that should have gone to a woman. But Boston, of course, very woke, Massachusetts, New England, all in on the transgender identity. Michelle Wu, the mayor of Boston, fighting ICE at every turn on everything she can regarding immigration. The only way to win this battle, there are 2 ways to win this battle. Number 1, never relent. Never apologize for saying true things. Do not let your daughter or your wife compete in a category against a biological man. That's not quitting. It's not being fearful. That's standing for truth. Okay, that's one way. The second way is advertiser boycotts, like we did with Bud Light when they brought out Dylan Mulvaney to endorse Bud Light as an influencer. It influenced it, all right. It influenced it right into the dumper. And Bud Light lost its designation as the top-selling beer in America. So 2 ways to fight it. Stand for truth, don't compete, and stand against those who support it. Call it out at every turn. Because as I'm in Whitehall, in Boston, wherever it is, they're not relenting. The president's outlawed it. They're not relenting. So we have to be steadfast in our opposition.
Dangers that we haven't seen in a long time, maybe ever. Inflation continues to be a problem. Interest rate increases have made purchases like cars and homes seemingly impossible for some, and retirement looks like a scary proposition. For many, it appears to be a dire situation and has left them paralyzed and fearful. You are not helpless, and there are ways to gain back control. At Aptus, we help our clients navigate the labyrinth of retirement planning and educate them on how to make appropriate choices for their individual situation. Whether you have never met with a fiduciary investment advisor before, or you just want a second opinion, we're here to help. Call our office today at 614-917-1040 and learn how a cost-free complimentary meeting may be the key to putting your money to work and your mind at ease. And don't forget to listen to the Aptus Blueprint Radio Show Friday evenings at 6, Saturday afternoons at noon, or call our office today at 614-917-1040.
Find us at 9890theanswer.com. Download our apps. Stream us 24/7. WTOH and WTOH HD1, Upper Arlington, Columbus.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Pope Francis died on Easter Monday at the age of 88. Francis' death was announced by Cardinal Kevin Farrell, as translated from Italian by correspondent Charles de Ledesma.
The Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the Papa's house. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and His Church. Farrell continues, Francis taught us to live the values of the gospel with faithfulness, courage, and universal love. especially for the poorest and most marginalized.
Cardinal Farrell made the announcement just over 2 hours after Francis had died. Farrell spoke from the apartment on Vatican grounds where Francis lived and where he had returned to recover less than a month after being hospitalized for double pneumonia. Francis made his final public appearance a day earlier on Easter Sunday. He appeared very frail with his voice weak. He blessed a crowd of faithful from the loggia of St. Peter's Basilica. Also at townhall.com, with reporters outside the White House, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says President Trump stands behind Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth amid a Pentagon staff shakeup and a New York Times report on a second signal text chain.
The president absolutely has confidence in Secretary Hegseth. I spoke to him about it this morning and stands strongly behind him.
According to the New York Times, Hegseth used the Signal messaging app to tell his wife, brother, and a senior advisor about a March military airstrike against Yemen's Houthi terrorists. And the details about the strike were similar to those that were sent in another chat group, which mistakenly included a journalist. At Wall Street, stocks are tumbling as worries from investors continue about President Trump's trade war and his criticism of the Federal Reserve. All three major indexes now down well over 2%. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Intervals of clouds and sun, a thunderstorm in the area this afternoon. That could bring some hail and damaging wind. Our high today, 75. Likely cloudy, breezy, cool night tonight, low 48. And then a very nice day tomorrow. Sunshine, a few clouds, high 71. Sunny, terrific on Wednesday, the high 78. Cloudy, warm, afternoon shower or two on Thursday, the high 81. And then rain on Friday with a high at 75. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Are you among the millions of Americans living with chronic pain? If so, you may think prescription opioids are the solution. Truth is, opioids only mask the pain, and they come with serious side effects, from nausea to withdrawal symptoms to overdose. There is another choice: physical therapy. Physical therapists treat pain through movement and exercise. Choose physical therapy. Visit moveforwardpt.com. This public service announcement is brought to you by the American Physical Therapy Association.
Bruce Williams. Major League Baseball action yesterday. Some big scores rung up, starting with the Reds defeating the Orioles by 24-2. You have the Brewers over the Athletics 14-1. White Sox over the Red Sox 8-4. There were 4 extra inning games. In 10, the Guardians over the Pirates 5-4. In 10, the Marlins over the Phillies 7-5. In 10, the Royals over the Tigers 4-3. And in 11, Diamondbacks over the Cubs 3-2. Braves winners over the Twins. Mariners beat the Blue Jays. Yankees shut the Rays out. Mets over the Cardinals. Dodgers with a 1-0 shutout against the Rangers. Angels beat the Giants 5-4. And it was the Padres over the Astros 3-2 in a doubleheader. You had the Nationals and Rockies splitting their games. In the day game, Nationals over the Rockies 3-2. And in the nightcap, it was the Rockies coming back to defeat the Nationals by a 3-1 score. This is SRN Sports. NBA action yesterday. You had 3 of the 4 top-seeded teams winning. Thunder mauled the Grizzlies 131-80. The Cavaliers over the Heat 121-100. Celtics beat the Magic 103-86. It was the Warriors tripping up the Rockets 95-85 tonight. Pistons play the Knicks. They broke up a game to none. And the Clippers playing the Nuggets with Denver up 1 game to none. Then in the NHL, 3 games. Hurricanes over the Devils 4-1. Maple Leafs beat the Senators 6-2. The Golden Knights over the Wild 4-2. Each of those teams was up 1-0 in the best-of-7 series. 4 more games we play tonight. Canadians and the Capitals, Blues and the Jets, Avalanche and Stars, Oilers and Kings. Pro golf, the RBC Heritage Classic had Justin Thomas and Andrew Novak finishing tied at 17 under par, second week in a row. The playoff determines the winner, and it goes to Justin Thomas winning the jacket and the tournament. This is SRN Sports.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
You heard me talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Most people in radio commercials talk really fast.
So we're going to end the live stream after hour number 1. We got hour number 2 coming up. Bruce Hooley Facebook page, Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page, and the 99 Answer Facebook page. Hope you all have a good day and have a blessed Easter. And talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day. Pray for our country. Pray for our safety. Pray that calm will prevail. It's kind of sad out there what's going on. Have a good one.